Pastor Matthew Stuckey here, and in this video I want to explain to you Jude chapter 1 verse 6. The Bible says in Jude 1 verse 6, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day." Now the first thing to understand about Jude chapter 1, or the book of Jude I should say, is that it is parallel with 2 Peter chapter 2. So many times the Bible will have parallel books or chapters or passages, and you can learn extra things by studying both of those books or both of those chapters. And this is actually parallel, and in verse number 6 it speaks about the angels which sinned. And when it comes to angels, angels do not go to heaven or hell based on what they believe. The fact is 1/3 of the angels rebelled with Satan, and because of that the Bible says that they are reserved in everlasting chains. Now people wrongly look at this phrase and assume that they are already in hell, but that doesn't make sense because of the fact you see people getting possessed at the time of Christ, and that is still something that happens today, which is very evident if you're out going soul winning. You see people that are out of their minds and crazy. Many times you see demonic possession that's actually taking place. The Bible's saying they're reserved in everlasting chains. What it's saying is that they have a reservation that they are actually going to be going to hell. They have no hope of going to heaven, those angels that chose to rebel. The next verse talks about Sodom and Gomorrah. And the Bible gives you this link to give you an understanding. And of course, in Sodom and Gomorrah, God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of the sin of the LGBT. And what the Bible's showing you is that group of people, the LGBT, they also have a reservation. Now, just as angels are not in hell right now, there are plenty of members of the LGBT community that are not in hell right now, but they actually have a reservation. That's what the Bible's saying. Now, of course, you say, well, these people, it's not the same as angels, which have no hope of going to heaven, because these people can believe on Christ and end up going to heaven. Well, actually, the Bible speaks about people becoming children of the devil, where it says they could not believe. Of course, anyone that does believe will go to heaven, but the Bible says people can reject God and sin against God, and by their works eventually be rejected by God, where they have no hope. You say, but wait a minute, it says a reservation, and reservations can be canceled. But the problem with that is the fact that they did not make the reservation. Of course, if I make a reservation date for my family to go to a nice restaurant, I can call up the next day and cancel it. But the thing is, when it comes to the people that become reprobates and with the LGBT, they did not make the reservation. God made that reservation. They made their choice by their sins and their actions and not wanting to retain God in their knowledge, and then God gave them a reservation. So even though they're not in hell right now, the Bible says that is their ultimate destiny. That is the reservation, just like as the Bible said the angels which sinned in verse 6 linked with the LGBT in verse number 7. Anyways, thank you and God bless.